everybody! So, I just saw a meme for the 1000th time that said happiness is a choice. And while I do think there's merit to that on some level, I feel like if that is your sole approach to somebody who is expressing unhappiness, then you are essentially gaslighting them. And I know the term gaslighting gets thrown around very loosely. It's a trending label to apply to someone's actions that you don't like. I get that. But it is very accurate in this case because, sure, the person who's depressed or upset or sad, mad, anything negative, and they are verbalizing that or giving you the silent treatment, they're showing that they're upset. Ultimately they are choosing in a way subconsciously to feel that way. They could fake it till they make it if they wanted. They could force themselves to feel happy to where it wouldn't really be organic. They could make an effort to try to fight their natural feelings of dis-ease. But aside from the obvious reasons as to why that's not healthy to do, because that's a form of escapism, that's a form of stuffing. I mean, there is a difference between trying to be happy and forcing yourself to be happy, or flat out lying about how you feel. But really, for me anyway, and for most of the people I know on a deep level, when they get upset and they let it show, and I don't mean raging, I don't mean acting violent, I don't mean being revengeful or taking it out on people, just when they just don't want to make their surface feelings look happy, it is a form, it is a subconscious form, it is an inadvertent choice, yes, to punish yourself. Because when you're feeling a certain degree of depression, sadness, dis-ease, whatever, in a way, in an indirect way, you feel like you deserve to feel that way. So choosing to dwell in that and not ignore it and not push away your organic sadness or whatever, that is what you feel like you deserve in that moment. And it is a form and a way of punishment, of self-punishment. Kind of in the way that, like, if you succeeded at something, you might take yourself out to dinner and, like, treat yourself. If your self-esteem is that low, choosing to be happy really almost isn't an option. If your self-esteem is that low, if you feel that defeated, even though, it in a tiny way could be an option, it's really not. I mean, it's still an option, but if you have to force it enough, it's not even real happiness. So when I see this meme that says, like, you have a choice to be happy, that could apply to some people who are unhappy. It cannot apply, however, to everyone who's depressed. And I feel like it's just that is such a form of gaslighting to approach people's depression like that. Like, you could tell people, like, there's a spectrum of depression. You could tell people on the spectrum of depression who are, like, past the stage of, like, being in that tornado. You could tell people who are kind of outside the tornado, looking at the tornado of depression. You could tell them, let's make some effort to, but the people who are still in the swirling, twirling trauma of that sadness, to tell them, oh, well, you're choosing to feel that way? Well, no SHIT, Sherlock. Like, duh. Like, they are choosing to feel that way. In the same way that, like I said, a successful person wants to reward themselves. Someone who is feeling that degree of depression, they already feel like a burden by default because they realize that their actions are affecting others negatively around them. They feel like a killjoy, not just for themselves, but for everyone else. That's why they don't bother responding back to people. That's why they stay in their house all day, assuming they have a house to live in. And yeah, they are choosing to feel sad because they feel like that's all they deserve. Duh. They feel like that's all they deserve. If you don't feel worthy of love, you're not gonna choose to love yourself. You have to feel worthy of love before you can even give yourself the gift of choosing to feel happy. So I'm just thinking of when I've been at my lowest of lows emotionally, and I've seen that meme and I've heard that sentiment been echoed around, and it's just like kicking a dead horse. It's like, wow, thanks Captain Obvious for pointing out that depressed people are choosing to feel depressed. You know, choosing when the choice is affected by environment, chemicals, hormones, trauma, etc. The choice is it really is. It's almost not a choice to feel depressed. It's almost just like a reaction. And like I said, any effort to try to come off happy almost makes you feel worse, because it's like you're resisting things, you're not really facing things, and you can't really fix something if you don't face it full on. If you don't sit with your sadness, you can't really ever fix it. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I have a friend, I haven't met her in person, but she's been feeling very suicidal for a while now, and she posts about it every single day in 2 different groups online, and she's younger than me. And she feels very neglected from her parents, from her family. She feels very unheard. I mean, they're not like abusive, but they emotionally neglect her, and she just feels like non-existent, and like she's just rotting away basically. And she talks about it every day, and they've tried different avenues. And you know, for someone like her to have to, and I see people responding to her, to see these people telling her that she's choosing to feel that way, what is your point? Like, what is your point? Would you go up to somebody who's full of glee and joy and be like, you know what, you're only choosing to feel happy. You're just choosing to feel that way? No. Because you would know on a subconscious level that that's how, chemically and hormonally and all, that that's how they also kind of feel. And there has to be an element there inside that person that's fueling how they feel. So if they are genuinely like showing happiness, there's an element of genuine happiness there. If someone's going around moping and stuff, there is an element of sadness there. It's not cute. It's not attractive. Yeah, it is a form of attention seeking, but that's not a bad thing. But it's not a cute form of attention seeking. When you're putting your emotions out there, knowing that people are going to pick you apart, knowing they're going to call you crazy, emo, psycho, knowing you're going to be accused of being an attention seeker. Like, there's nothing to gain out of that. This is 2019. Anybody who's over the age of like 12, who's constantly talking about wanting to kill themselves, or they are fully aware they're going to be accused of being an attention seeker, and nobody wants to be accused of that. So if these people are putting themselves out on a ledge like that to be judged negatively, you should be smart enough to be able to tell there is a real element of depression there. Granted, yes, there are always exceptions. There are always going to be people who are faking being sad. And yeah, but when it comes to depression, like when it comes to suicide, you should always err on the side of caution. I don't know, I just wanted to say that.